Well, good evening, race fans, and a very warm welcome back to ALR's MT1, the Monday Tier 1. This is round 5 of Season 5. We are going to Lago Maggiore, and looks to be on track first of all. Looks to be the Mustang of BR4, and I will take you through the standings before BR4 gets himself up to date, up to the start-finish line, I should say. My name is Webbo. I'm here to take you through the season so far. So Iggy and Sigboy, after 4 weeks and 8 separate races, are tied on points on 128 points. 2 fastest laps have gone to Sigboy, but tremendous catch-up work he's been doing, as well as BR4 on 121, means we have a very close title fight here for the top tier of Monday night racing. In fourth we have Mackey's on 113, and then a little distance away Joe Royal on 90 points. A long way back then comes Mr. Berserk, Noble, Simon K, RDO flying from Mushalot, Pornish Town and Blue Mosquito, making out your top 13. Slimmy Cam is 14th with Spanderspec, Olive El Trocker in the top 17 of our drivers, but some some tyre warming going on. Hi to ALR, the boss at least, and to RDO, who both are here to join us. Who is here? Who is not part of the main administration? That would be interesting for me, as well as finding out who you're here to support. The car's looking good out there tonight. Lago Maggiore, a track I'm somewhat unfamiliar with, but I do have a nice handy track guide in front of me, and looking forward to seeing how the drivers cope with this one. Just a slight amount of a southerly wind, the drivers to factor in here, and will join on board for BR4 as he rounds the final corner and heads down the start-finish straight. And ALR says his money is on BLR as well, so it might be a good person to choose to ride the pole. Right down to second gear and a nice bit of mid-corner apex, then down even slower, down to early 40s in the mile-an-hour rate through turn 2. Turn 3 is a bit of a nice acceleration zone, using plenty of apex there before hitting turn 4. A little braking down to second gear once again, and a big snap of sideways oversteer before heading down the hill towards the very tricky braking for turn 5. I'm going to call the apex turn 5 because it could be construed as a turn on its approach, but we go up the hill through turn 6. And then we've got the snake of 7, 8, 9 fast chicane. Not really a chicane in terms of curb usage, but it's a chicane nonetheless. A power, we'll put the power down as early as possible through now what is definitely a chicane here of turns 10 and 11 before we crest over the hill. This is a penalty marker where drivers will have to slow, and then we go down the hill for very early braking, reaching as close to VMAX as possible before braking down the hill with added momentum, skip over that apex turn through turn 12. We'll hopefully see some overtaking through there tonight. Then 13 and 14, a simple left and a right, but dealing with a bit of topography here. Don't get distracted by the mountains in the background. And then we go down to turn 15, just in the final sector of the racetrack now. A bit of a right-angled right-hand corner, open entry, open exit, and then turns 16 and 17. Build the speed before the final corner, turn 18, and of course pit lane entry on your left, because we are going around the opposite way around this circuit to convention, and as in it is a clockwise circuit, and the majority of the circuits we've done so far have been anti-clockwise. BR4 gets a 54 on the board, 54.5 on the board, but Iggy beats him immediately. Iggy there in the Viper, and he's directly behind him on track. So Iggy the fastest so far. Who else is coming through to set their laps? Let's join them down in the order. We've got Slimmy Cam about to cross the line. No, in fact, he's going to go in the pits, Slimmy Cam. And Sick Boy then from the lead of the championship, joint leader of the championship currently. What does his first attempt here at the pole lap look like? It is a lot slower, so I'm assuming with softs on the front, mediums on the rear, he's getting the medium rears up to temperature but it's some way off just yet. Mackey's hasn't set his time either yet, so he's some way through the start of his first lap here. Currently in turn 7, 8 and 9 now, using those sausage curbs on the inside just to bring the car into the corner. And then we'll go down the hill once again, lowest point on the circuit. Tyres, as usual, have been the subject of much discussion between the drivers in the driver chat. Some people saying that it's very high tyre wear, other people saying it's really easy to manage. So it seems to be very car specific here for the drivers. Definitely a different challenge for them. Remember, this just sets the grid for our sprint race, and we will go, of course, for our one-shot qualifying in between sessions for the 40-minute feature race. So down we go into turn 18 on board, riding very wide on the exit, using every inch of the racetrack. Does Mackey's before crossing the line. Mackey's picking up. Seems to be P11 still, unfortunately for him. Maybe that one was an invalid lap overall. Let's see if Slimmy Cam can set a time here. Getting a little bit crossed up on the way out. Iggy still leads from BR4 with Moosh in third place through the qualifying session. We are over halfway through this session. It's a long race lap around the Lago Maggiore. This is an outlap for Slimmy Cam, of course, because he went into the pits early doors. As we see now, we've got Iggy in the Viper trying to manage that oversteery nature of the car. Very gentle on the throttle through the mid-sector of the racetrack. Looks like we're going pretty slowly on a bit of a charge lap, as is BR4 behind him, with Mushalot being forced to decelerate at the next penalty line. So this lap will probably not be great for him. It was a very short-lived deceleration, half a second. I just took the sting out of that charge down the hill. See how Joe Royal is getting on, shall we? In the Lexus, of course. Joe currently in fourth place at the championship. Really just using the apex as a guide for where his outside wheels need to be on those flat curb corners. So coming out then to tackle the final corner. Nice bit of banking in this corner. If you can get the car hooked into that gully on the inside, it will bring the car round. But Joe a little bit distant from the edge of the circuit. Crosses the line then with no improvement in his position. Still fourth for Joe. Where is Simon Kay currently then? About to cross the line. He's 7/10 off the lead currently. And again, no improvement from Simon. So it looks like the track not improving at this stage. We have just about a minute and a half remaining of the session. And RDO says we might see some mixed strategies in the race for sure, given the tyre talk among the drivers. That should really provide something very intriguing to deal with. Soft tyres though on RDO's car. Of course, fighting against, as he has been all season long, the poor top speed advantage. It really is the Achilles heel of this car. Good on acceleration, but it's overall that top speed a real problem, and a little bit oversteery too. So RDO still in P8. Let's go back towards our grid. Well, I'm interested to see what Sick Boy can do, because this is uncharacteristic position for Sick Boy. We're on the final 30 seconds of our qualifying session. So let's see where our leader is currently. Iggy not too close to the end of his lap, but he will finish this lap, I feel certain. It is the final qualifying lap for the drivers. Who else have we got about to finish? Here comes Mackies then from P7, currently 1.2 seconds off the lead, and he crosses the line. It's a PB for him, but it's only good enough to stay 7th for Mackies. Here comes Joe to cross the line. That is an improvement, but stays 4th. Quite amazing. Iggy stays first. BR4 cannot beat him and cannot improve on this next lap. So it looks to be Iggy from BR4, Slimmy Cam and Simon K, with the cars all slowing down now, ready for qualifying. Moosh in 6th, sorry, with RDO on a competitive lap at the moment, trying to finish this one out. We've got David Sobrero just finished with a PB up to P7, deposes Mackies there temporarily. What about Sick Boy? Cannot improve his time. A P10 start for championship leading Sick Boy is not where he wanted to be at all. Mr. Berserk about to finish his lap, but so is RDO. Any improvement through the final corner for RDO, riding the outside line through that final corner and heading to the line then to finish this one out. It is a PB. It's good enough for 9th for RDO, and that is his day, his qualifying day run. Mr. Berserk will be the last one across the line and stays 12th, some 3.3 seconds off the pole position time of Iggy in the Viper. As RDO says, championship rivals split by 10 places. I don't think it's going to finish that way, and I think it will be a different story. So while we've got a moment here, let's have a quick look at strategies. Softs for Iggy, softs for BR4, Slimmy Cam, Simon K, Joe, Moosh, David Sobrero, Mackies, RDO, and I can't quite get there in time to see what it was that that Sick Boy fitted. So we're about to be underway then for a 15-minute sprint. The lights are ready, the revs are building. I hope you're joining us, hope you're excited about this one. Look but don't stare, and it's time to drop the clutch and go, go, go. It's a quick bog down from Iggy, but he relinquished his problem right from the start, and it's Iggy in the lead, away in front from BR4, defending from Slimmy Cam in the BMW. We've got a car turn round straight away. I think that might have been David Sobrero reserving with us as Slimmy Cam goes down the inside here of Simon, who's trying to hang on to 3rd place. Simon in the Vantage and Slimmy in the BMW. But Iggy away at the front, BR4 likewise, Sick Boy up to 8th, and that's pretty important for later on as RDO tries to stay ahead of Sick Boy. Sick Boy down the inside, they're struggling to hang on here to the Z4 in front, and that is of Mackies, who's changed his livery just to confuse me. Mackies in the Z4. Then we've got the Peugeot RCZ there of David Sobrero. It wasn't him that had the problem from the outset. I'll check in who it is that's running far back, but side by side go David Sobrero and RDO through the S's, and before they have the long run down the hill, where I'm sure RDO is going to lose out in top speed, is going to try and get the slipstream coming up. Blue Mosquito in 10th, Mr. Berserk in 11th, and it was Moosh in the green liveried Mustang, BR4's teammate, who lost out at the start there. That was that flash of white and green. There's quite a lot of white and green going on in the in this Monday Tier 1. Simon, despite the difficulties he's got with the top speed in the Vantage, is staying ahead just about for now. Takes the inside defensive line against the M6 GT3 of Slimmy Cam, the blue BMW, but the Vantage just hanging on. Absolute precision needed from the Aston Martin drivers. They cannot live with the top speed of everybody else, so it is all about just making sure that you make your gains in the corners wherever possible. And it's Iggy from BR4, Simon K, Slimmy Cam, Joe Royal and Mackies in this one. Somehow or other RDO is managing to type BR4 might have us in the sprint actually, he says, well, let's just check in. We wanted to see what the tyres were, and it is perhaps Sick Boy giving up a little bit of tyre wear, tyre grip in the qualifying, and so far profiting. He's on softs fronts and medium on the rears, so anticipating a little bit of extra rear slip angle perhaps from Sick Boy over the course of the sprint race. So he may have a slight advantage here, although I do tend to find that it's the front tyres that are more wear limited than the rears. Let's see if that it turns out to be true. Joe Royal with a good drive here out of the hairpin at the dip, and off goes Slimmy Cam, running wide and hitting the walls pretty hard, stopping the car, I think, and he's dropping down the order now, certainly out of the top 8, if not more. So Slimmy Cam's fight against Simon was only lasted about a lap and a quarter, as Simon can now concentrate on the back of the Swedish liveried Mustang of BR4 up ahead, but Iggy holds on to the lead currently at the midway point of lap 2 by 1.2 seconds. So Sick Boy now on the different tyre strategy is in 6th place, so he's moved up 4 places from the start. So obviously trying to maximise that strategy. He will be slightly slower at this stage, and here is Mackies, who's changed to a Martini liveried and Pomodoro Pizzeria liveried Z4. It's kept some of the chrome features though. So there goes Sick Boy, not quite able to live with the pace of Mackies at this stage, and there's David Sobrero in the RCZ. He was spitting feathers at being landed with the RCZ, wanting to borrow one of the cars that was not in use at the moment, but he has to live with the RCZ, unfortunately. Though it's not serving him too badly right now, is it? RDO in 8th, Blue Mosquito in 9th. Mr. Berserk is currently in 10th place in the Beetle, and Slimmy Cam was deposed all the way down to 11th. So Slimmy Cam and Moosh not having a good sprint race at this stage. You can see the tyre wear starting to take effect as we're reaching 1/3 distance of this sprint race. Those tyres already starting to show their early signs of problems on the soft runners, but it does appear to still be the fronts on the Viper, the fronts on the Mustang, and on the Aston Martin, all wearing at a greater rate than the rears. Putting mediums on the fronts and softs on the rear, I think, would just result in too much understeer for the drivers. It would really affect the balance quite badly. You want a more positive front end, I think, if possible. So have we got any nice close battles on the circuit? So far the drivers all have got very similar, around 1 second gaps between each other all the way down the order. Great mobile trackside cameras in the game, really giving you that sense of how hard the drivers are pushing, and we've got a much nicer connection tonight as well. I'm kind of somewhat fearful that people's PlayStations are going to overheat, or particularly their Fanatec or Thrustmaster steering rigs. They're going to be problematic as the Peugeot RCZ kicks up the dust on the way through the final corner. Obviously pushing a little bit too hard, and there was RDO hitting the wall, unfortunately. He's did exactly the same as David Sobrero, maybe slightly unsighted with the dust kick up, and hit the pit wall, but has managed to keep going. He just grazed up that Castrol livery on the Vantage, but still dealing with a little bit of problems with grip as well. Blue Mosquito can see a surprise opportunity coming up in front of him here for P8 with RDO's issue. So RDO needing to get back under control, and he's still wiggling the car around. In fact, there's Slimmy Cam and Mr. Berserk fighting tooth and nail for P10 currently. Here comes Slimmy down the inside then, looking for a route, but it's a very difficult braking zone for this corner. He's going to lift the brake pedal just on the apex, and they'll go side by side up and over the crest and in towards the next quick series of left rights of 6, 7, 8, 9. And Slimmy Cam through and up to P10 then from his issues at the start. Iggy then 1.6 seconds ahead of BR4. is the current leader of the race. Sick Boy holding position in P6 still, and that's all important for the championship. BR4 though, he quite fancies making this a three-way battle in the championship as we head towards the feature race. He's racing, I think that's an Alonso helmet, isn't it? On BR4 on the inboard. Simon back with us after a couple of weeks off and enjoying his racing. Looks like P3 here. Just kicking up that dust once again. Seen a couple of drivers have issues on that final corner. It's an open and cambered corner that really invites the drivers to push really hard here. You can see the soft tyres really wearing at quite the rate here. Sick Boy has definitely got more grip on his rear tyres, but his fronts are just about as worn as everybody else's, so he should be stronger on traction towards the end of the sprint race. But getting that corner all kinds of wrong coming through turn 4 was Sick Boy. Still P6 though. David Sobrero continuing in the Peugeot RCZ, which is the rarely spotted RCZ here in our Monday Tier 1. So RDO some 8 seconds away from David Sobrero, but he has started to gap the group of Blue Mosquito. But Slimmy Cam has now got past Blue Mosquito and is trying to gap the Mozzie in the Genesis. Looks like Mr. Berserker's dropped off as well. There's the Genesis just taking a penalty. Not a long-lived penalty, thankfully for him. Still unchanged at the front in the battle for the podium. I think possibly Simon K is starting to bring himself closer to BR4, but Iggy maintaining the gap at 2 seconds plus into lap 5 and approaching 2/3 distance of this sprint race. As Simon in the Vantage with Joe, some 3 seconds off. Looks like Joe was getting a bit closer, but I don't think there's a cigar in the offing here for Joe this stage. Just holding off Mackey's Sick Boy and David Sobrero, who is still on the back of Sick Boy. Well, I say still on the back, he's right on the back, and I think he's about to launch an attack here. Goes very wide on the way out of turn 4. Again, not for the first time we've seen that tonight. That gives Sick Boy a little bit of respite as that fiendishly difficult braking down into turn 5, kind of open hairpin, the bottom of the hill there. Really difficult to get the car stopped, to be late on the brakes and accurate with the front end. Another big moment there, oh, in the Mercedes, and a massive 4-wheel drift from Sick Boy. Holds on, but you can see why he fitted the mediums on the rear, because if he's going to light them up like that, he's going to need every bit of that extra grip. So David Sobrero through to 6th then, and it's not looking good for Sick Boy this sprint race. He's had a heck of a run of form lately, but doesn't seem to be translating into the soft tyre requirements of Lago Maggiore sprint. Mackey's is right on the back here of Joe Royal. Might go for a move shortly. Approaching the end of the lap now. Riding the brakes on the way into turn 15. The all-important final corner. Well, we've seen so many errors. You can see Joe running out of grip on the outside there. Kicks up the dust once again. Mack is much more under control and gaining once again. Big welcome if you're just joining us. Do let us know who you're supporting tonight, or if you find a new favourite. Bonus points if it's not the current leader. And votes for top livery would always be welcome. Mackey's then 0.3 of a second off the back of Joe Royal, here in the battle for fourth. The front podium still seems pretty secure, but I'll go and have a look at Simon K shortly, who is chasing down BR4. Here comes Mackey's then to the inside line, down, heavy braking into the hairpin. Joe tries the inside out move, and it works beautifully. Joe, with very controlled switchback maneuvering, manages to keep the place. Mackey's obviously had to brake late. Joe knew this, broke early, and got the outside inside move done. Joe holds on once again. Let's just